Hello, Facebook and YouTube. So, can everybody hear me? Well, the one person watching. Can you hear me? Two people. Somebody please tell me if you can hear me. I hope so. So I totally just, in a new place, and I don't want to be too loud. There's someone upstairs. Dang it, I did it again. I forgot to introduce myself at the beginning. So, hey, I'm King James Council. Welcome to the King's Council. Your prep for all, and, well, yeah, all for prep and prep for all. It's the nerd edition, because today is May 4th, and so May the 4th be with you. So I'm actually waiting on one of our guests to pop in here. I don't know where the lovely one is, but I do have my former co-worker here and my friend, Miss Maggie Heatley, and go ahead and just bring her on, introduce you to her, and see if I can find that dank bearded queen. Hey Maggie, how are you?
Hey, how's it going?
It's a going. So Facebook, YouTube, all four of you. And this is Maggie. She works at Palmetto Community Care, and her title is a tongue twister. And I'm gonna let her say it.
Prevention Community Outreach Coordinator.
I had to type that up for a business card, and I'm like, "Are you sure that's your?" It was crazy. Oh, and so Maggie just celebrated her 1-year anniversary with Palmetto Community Care down in Charleston, South Carolina. All right, I remember the day you walked in that office.
Oh, how sweet.
So, yeah, we're still waiting on Aquariius, my other guest tonight. But until then, I want you to tell everybody a little bit about what you do.
Sure. So, as the Prevention Community Outreach Coordinator, I get to enjoy a little bit of everything. I manage our mobile testing van that I take out to rural areas for testing. We go to health fairs, different churches. We even go to bars and different late night events to offer free HIV testing, and we offer free condoms. I also get to do presentations on sexual health to different high school students and college students. And I also do testing inside of the offices. So we do testing Monday through Thursday, and we have late night days that I help out with as well. Another cool thing that I get to do is manage the condom distribution program for the Tri-County area. So we have different partners that we have established, and we give them basically free condoms, and so that they can make them available to people, and there's not that stigma or fear about purchasing condoms or, not having access to them. So there are various barbershops, hair places, clubs, community centers, all sorts of places that have free condoms. And we also just expanded because of the current situation to putting condoms in our low country blessing boxes. So a little bit of everything.
So what is a blessing box?
A blessing box is something that a lot of organizations establish. It's a box that they put out at the front of their property, and people stock it with non-perishable foods. And so people who are facing, food scarcity, food injustices, and, just need to grab something, there's all kinds of things in there, from dried goods to canned goods. There's also toiletries. So it's a free box for people who are in need. And I think now there's over 120 of them around Berkeley, Charleston, and Dorchester counties in South Carolina. So
don't get me started on Berkeley County. It's called a blessing box?
Yeah, Low Country Blessing Box Project is what they are on Facebook.
Okay, I'm going to check that out. So, so now we know what you do at the organization. Is there anything that you want to tell everybody about PCC?
I guess I think we're a pretty cool organization. It's it's kind of a dream job for me because I get to work in sexual health, and help remove the stigma when it comes to facing HIV and AIDS. I am the prevention side, so I get to offer that testing and counseling to people that come in for the free testing that we offer. We make it accessible. And we also have client case managers that work with those who are HIV positive and make sure that they have resources.
Shout out to Taryn. Shout out to Taryn. She's my favorite case manager.
Hey.
All times.
So we make sure that people have access to housing and food and insurance and medications and any other resources they might be having trouble get a hold of because of their status.
Right. And so another thing about Palmetto Community Care, it's been going on, 21 years now? 22?
Yeah, since 1995.
Yeah. And so they, the senior executive there, Bradley Childs, he's an amazing man. And he's been in that position for going on 16 years now. And he's, there's also connected to PCC, Palmetto Community Care, is Truesdale Medical Center, which is a clinic too. So if you can't get over to the offices that are over there on Meeting Street, if you are watching and located in the Low Country area, you can also go to Truesdale Medical Center, which is located on Rivers. It's a street. Yeah, Rivers.
Yeah, Rivers Avenue.
Rivers Avenue. And see Heather and Jamie and Cody and all them over there. So Heather's a rare unicorn too. So, but anyway, and then also too, no matter where you're viewing it, if you look at Google or even get on Facebook and everything, every area has a HIV and AIDS services, one or two, if not more, that do free testing, and then that have clinics that you can see. And I know here in Metro they have a sliding scale for doctor's visits and everything. And they also have trans resources attached to them. The one here at Saint Pete. I don't know about the other ones. So it's important to know your status. And with PrEP is for everyone. It's just not targeted for one community or not. And if you say, I don't have insurance, there's ways to cover that too. And Maggie, isn't there Gilead do a prescription or a copay card?
Yes, so Gilead, if you just Google Gilead copay card and you choose what medication you're on, if it hasn't changed, last time we did it for someone, you can get up to $7,200 per year, and basically goes towards paying for your medication, so that you can have better access to it. And some organizations like us, on a case-by-case basis, we try and work with them if that $7,200 runs out. So
right, and I mean it's a good thing. I know switching from South Carolina to Florida, we had a mishap with my insurance and everything, and Gilead actually covered now 2 months of my medication. So and so don't ever use an excuse, folks, for I don't have insurance, I can't afford it. There's ways around it, and there's these services like that Maggie works at, especially the prevention side. They are there for just that reason. So,
exactly.
And I mean now, are you still doing the little video corner and everything on? What was it called?
Project Protect.
Yes.
Yeah, it's kind of changed a little bit. We've been doing some mini videos, but we actually just started a new thing we're kicking off tomorrow called Talk About It Tuesday at 2:00. So tomorrow we're going to be discussing condoms live on Facebook, Palmetto Community Care's page.
Now, I know we're talking, PrEP is for all. Do you have any numbers or anything about that right now?
Numbers as in how many people are on it, or?
Yeah. Or like,
so with our program, we have about, I think, between 75 and 80 clients that we have on our PrEP program. We try to get, we probably gain 3 to 5 clients a month, if not more. We actually counsel them if they come in for testing. That's a question we ask everybody, hey, have you thought about PrEP? What do you know about it? And that's when we would explain the process to them. When it comes to PrEP, once you are interested in it, you have to do testing every 3 months to make sure that you stay HIV and STI free. And they also do lab work to make sure that your liver and your kidneys are in good condition.
Right, because I know every medication has its side effects and everything, and a lot of them right now, most of them, they always, it affects your liver and your kidneys. So, and bone density.
And we haven't actually, so with our clients, we haven't had a lot of feedback on people who have experienced side effects that are new. People that have experienced stuff with Truvada, they already had some kind of gastrointestinal problem,
Right.
so it just kind of aggravated. But there is that new medication out, which can also be used for PrEP called Descovy. Truvada can be used for everyone. Descovy can be used for everyone unless you're assigned female at birth, because there were no trials done with that base group. So it is an option out there for some.
Right now, I know when we had the dinner with Vivio, me and Jamie were at that one. They were talking about the Descovy was still in the trials. And I know I'd asked them, well, how many, in your study are trans? And of course, looking at the numbers and everything, they look at trans guys, FTMs, are at a low risk. When actually 11% of trans guys in the South are living with an HIV status, and they don't know it. So there wasn't anyone done in that study, but yet, since they had trans women in it, nothing got said.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. We're hoping that maybe they continue to do more studies with Descovy, or Truvada is supposed to be going into generic form soon.
Oh, nice.
So that will open up a lot of opportunity for others that couldn't access it. And as technology keeps moving, there's bound to be more medications that would be PrEP verified.
Right. And so, I'm right there along. PrEP is for everybody. It's not just for men who sleep with men, or or anything like that. Because if you look at look around you, a lot of us are on Grindr, and then there's a lot of people who are on the down low.
Exactly. So, and that's why, part of our intake process, when we're asking different assessment questions, we don't actually ask about sexuality. We just say, hey, do you sleep with male, female, transgender? We don't identify that as a specific sexuality, because that can deter people from, sharing that information.
Well, now, what if they don't know they're sleeping with somebody who has a status, like, say, a married woman? Okay, she doesn't know that her husband's, getting some massage from, what I'm talking about.
Right, I understand. Yeah.
So,
well, before PrEP, we always would suggest condoms. But even with PrEP, we suggest using condoms because they would protect against the STIs and the HIV for you. So it really comes down to just knowing your partner. Sometimes, in best case scenario, you'll know your partner and their activity, but like you said, sometimes you don't. And that's when you just have to put your own health forward, ahead of everyone else's, and kind of, if you have any inkling of concern, move forward with something that's going to protect you.
Right. Now, I know the number of actual cisgender or heterosexual women that are living with HIV is a lot higher than what people would expect, but a lot of people don't know it. So.
Yes, I think that what it is, there was such a focus on, gay or bisexual men or men who sleep with men, that others thought that it wasn't something that was a risk for them. But, unfortunately, contraction is a risk for everyone, because not always do you know your partners, or can you practice protected sex. Right.
And then, too, yes, PrEP is a prevention method, but now, so you have come into contact, with someone who has a status and just found out. Do you want to tell us a little bit something about PEP?
Yes, so we do offer PEP as well. The difference, so what we would do with that, if somebody came in, they would have to start the PEP 72 hours after exposure. We're within 72 hours of exposure. So they would come in, we would do an HIV test, STI test, and then it's a 30-day medicine program. And then they would come in, get tested after 30 days, and then also get tested 3 months, because it's recommended by the CDC that you get tested 3 months after every exposure. There are tests that can pick up on exposure as early as 2 weeks, but it just depends on everyone's individual body and how they process the virus. It can happen that we can pick it up that early, but 3 months is always the best to get tested to have the most accurate result.
Yeah, I know when I transferred my files down to here. So, I don't mind talking about it. So I am a trans guy, born a female, living with an undetectable HIV status. I'm one of those that was supposed to be the lowest risk possible of contracting, according to studies and doctors, to where doctors didn't even test me, And so that right there shows you, it don't care. It's going to get you. And so, but, oh God, what was I saying? Crap. I done got my dang train of thought. What was I saying?
Getting tested.
Okay. Yeah,
Even
so,
if you're not in the demographic that they suggest.
So when I was transferring down here, and since South Carolina uses a different lab, it was a third-party lab, they couldn't transfer my, proof that I was living with, status, to where they tested me 4 times here before they found any kind of traces of it. So that right there, yeah. So that goes to undetectable equals untransmittable.
Exactly.
So, and prevention.
You.
Huh? Do what?
You equals you. Yeah.
Okay, hang on. Let's see. So, what other fun facts do you have for us?
Let's see. Well, just to touch on a little bit. So, what we also offer testing for STIs, like I mentioned, and the reason it's important to also get tested for STIs, especially if you're on PrEP or if you're HIV positive, is because when you contract STIs, it increases your risk of contracting HIV. HIV lives in those white blood cells, and when you get an infection, white blood cells go, rush to that area. So it's kind of like a white blood cell party if you have an STI, and it increases the chances of the virus being able to infect those cells if they're already there. So if we have someone that comes in that's interested in PrEP and they have an STI, we test for syphilis, gonorrhea, and chlamydia. They would have to get treated for that first, and then we can start them on PrEP. So, little fun fact.
It is. So, I caught half of that. I was trying to check on the other. Let's see what else I can think of. That'd be important to let everybody know.
And using condoms, I think I already mentioned before, but it's still important to use condoms even when you are on PrEP, and if you're undetectable. You want to have a relationship where you talk about stuff like that with your partner, but it's important to keep away those STIs because PrEP only works on HIV. So it's not going to prevent you from contracting those others.
And then I had a question, and then so our lovely Aquariius is she's held up, but she'll hopefully get to squeeze in and say goodnight, say bye. But let's see. I'm trying to think. So far this year, with it being it's May. Do you know the number of has prevention lowered the number of new cases that the PCC has had?
So we only really got to report on 2.5 months because we haven't been testing since March 23rd or 24th. I think, if I'm not mistaken, we've had 2 positive cases that have come up this year. I can tell you last year we tested over 2,400.
Yeah, well, last year we met goal by June.
Yeah, so we tested over 2,400 people and we had 23 positive cases. Compared to 2018, we had only tested 1,700. Right. So it's booming. We're talking about, we don't really know what our plan is right now, what it looks like with, this pandemic going on. That's why we're trying to make sure we have all this prevention information out, and we're trying to make sure we can create an environment where we can continue testing, but make it safe for those who come in and also those who are testing, the clients. So,
well, I mean, if you think of, speaking of, the COVID-19, now, what's funny, but I don't want to scare anybody. If you look at the symptoms of the COVID and the beginning symptoms of HIV, they's almost twins.
Yeah, I can see where you go. Well, because it's called you kind of have flu-like symptoms in the beginning, right. Acute HIV infection, and so.
And see, so the same symptoms are that of someone who's depressed, an alcoholic, a drug addict, and everything. So, the symptoms of when people run to the doctor, oh, I got the flu, you know, you might want to ask your doctor to go ahead and test you, because that is a symptom of something that can be major.
That's very true. And a lot of people have the misconception that if they go to the doctor regularly, they are getting tested. But a lot of times,
I
like
thought I was.
you do have to ask your general doctor to get tested if, you know, advocate for your own health, because sometimes it's not on the regular panel unless you're a pregnant woman in the first or third trimester.
Or if your doctor pretty much thinks you're gay.
Right.
You know, and then those of us that live with, you know, the kiddies, doctors don't test us for it unless we ask. It's not something that they think of. It's like, especially because there's trans guys. Well, you transitioned into a guy, so why would you be gay? Yeah. So don't always assume that your doctor has your complete best interest in mind, because he's just assuming things if he doesn't know the answers. So
right, and that's why it's good to build trust with your doctor. Like you said, Truesdale is, you know, they obviously, you know, see clients there for HIV care, but they also offer things like HRT. You know, you can get on hormones and different things through that. So if you're not in the Charleston area, I heard of this great one called QueerMed. I think it's like queermed.com. A lot of people have been using that, especially in the upstate, and they do virtual appointments and stuff.
Oh, nice.
For people who can't access healthcare that they feel comfortable with.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Now I know we are coming down to our last couple of minutes here. Oh, Lord. That Miller High Life right there. It was cheaper than my sponsor beer. I'm sorry, Paps. But so I'm gonna ask so if you would talk about the importance of adherence to PrEP. It's not like Plan B.
Right. It's very important that you take PrEP approximately around the same time every day. And that's why a lot of times with our program, we try to give you like little pill holders so you can take like one pill with you during the day, and it's not so obvious, you know, if you're trying to be more discreet. It's something that builds up in your system.
Right. It's not something that you can just decide to take, I'll just take a handful before I have sex or after I have sex. It doesn't work that way, folks.
Exactly. There's not enough research out there. I have heard of different methods and we've been questioned about them, but there's not like extensive research on any other way.
Because I mean, you know, it's like with any medication. Over time, your body, you know, gets used to that dose, and it takes like 2 weeks for medication to get into someone's system completely.
It depends on the person. It can be anywhere from 2 weeks to a month.
Unless you got a high metabolism, then it could be like a day. So it's just not one of those things that you can just take one day and not take the next. You know, exactly. I've come across a lot of guys, you know, at least 2 hands and a foot come counting, you know, guys that, oh yeah, I just take that before. I'm like, that's not how that works. You know, one was an 18-year-old kid. I'm like, dude, that's not how that works. I mean, are you just going to take, you know, your regular, you know, take daily as prescribed medication when you feel like it?
Right.
So,
there's actually an app you can download. I think it's called the PrEP Squad or something like that. If you go to hiv.gov and search in their tab, there's an app you can download that'll give you reminders about PrEP so you can make sure you're adherent.
Nice. And then also, too, are you also doing the Prep Daddy program too? Listen to Daddy?
Yeah, we still have Prep Daddy. So listen to Daddy, take your PrEP.
Mm-hmm.
We have our PrEP website if people are interested in the Tri-County, Charleston, South Carolina area, is just chsprep.org, charlestonprep.org. And then the national website is getyourprep.com. And if you go to getyourprep.com, you can put in your zip code and find a provider near you.
And like we have been preaching this entire past 30 minutes now, PrEP is for everybody. You know, knowing your status is very important, and it doesn't matter who you sleep with or what, because you don't know who that other person has slept with. You know, you have those of us out there that are honest, and then you have those that are hiding things. I just don't want you to know. I mean, I know this is going to sound wrong, but at the end of the day, you got you on this. Don't trust what they're saying. If you're going to take big boy risk, be prepared for big boy consequences. Not everybody can handle that.
You are your own best health advocate.
Amen. So, Maggie, it was very good chatting with you. And thank you for being a part of this.
My pleasure.
And so, and two, if you want to go ahead and put some links in the comments down and everything in case people want to check out some information.
Okay.
All right.
Will do.
So, all right. So, everybody say bye to Maggie.
Bye.
And so I'm going to mosey on over and get this King's Roundtable started. Thank y'all for joining us. No, it wasn't that many, but on our talk about prep. See you over there at the King's Roundtable. Gotta finish getting ready.